Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. For those who don't know me, my name is Leo, one of the youth group leaders of Sedevet Youth, and I wanted to introduce the panel that we have here.
Diana. Hello, everybody.
And this is.
This is Frank.
All
Nice to
right.
meet
So,
you.
Frank is our special guest today. He is an
Hello.
incredible story of perseverance and what we can accomplish as human beings, and just like the sheer willpower that it took to. And I'll let you tell your story.
Mhm.
To go from where you were, and I remember the thing that got me to where I'm like, I need to make sure I get in contact with him now, and it's been like
2 years.
months that I've been wanting to call you to
Oh,
be
really?
like a part of this. But and it's been 2 years
Yeah,
since
I
your
remember we
accident.
talked
Wow.
about this while I was at the
Yeah,
hospital.
while you were at the
We
hospital.
talked about this, and I said I'm totally down to talk about.
And then
this.
it was me, because I mean, obviously you're
Mhm.
kind of you were busy trying to get yourself together,
Yes,
obviously.
of course, obviously.
But yes, so I'm gonna go ahead and hand this over to you. The only thing is, we are going to, at the very end, we have a little question, and we'll go ahead and give you this. The first person to answer the question gets a Starbucks gift card. We
Ooh.
also have a awesome challenge at the very end, which Diana didn't let me know about it, so we'll find out what it
Okay,
is
cool. I love
then.
mysteries.
And then, so here we go. I'm gonna hand it over to you. Just an incredible story of perseverance.
Okay, cool.
Go
cool,
for
cool.
it, Frank.
So, I'm Frank Canales, by the way. So in case you guys want to look me up on social media, Frank Canales.
What's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is Frank Canales.
Frank Canales.
Frank
Ooh.
Canales. Yeah. And then if you need help with any like student related stuff, college related stuff, the friendly Frank underscore oh no, the friendly Frank underscore no. The friendly Frank underscore no. Yeah. The friendly Frank underscore Frank. So you can go there. Yeah. But
Underscore
that's
Frank. I love
so I
that.
got two, but one is like for me and then the other one is for students. So yeah. So I'll start off. I was born and raised. Well, I was born in California, LA. I moved here when I was 3. To North Las Vegas. I mean, Nevada, obviously. And then we stayed here. Growing up, I was a troublemaker. In elementary school, I would get to a lot of arguments and everything with my teachers and everything, only because I feel like I wasn't really understood in everything. So when it came down to the transition of elementary school and middle school, I wanted to make that change. So I tried to stay out of trouble. That first year of middle school, I still got into trouble, but I learned how to not be such a troublemaker, and I learned how to be a part of the community and why it's important to be involved and to give back whenever you could. And I learned that at a very early age. I was exposed to a lot of college related things. I was in a group called After School All Stars, and we did so many community events. We did so many events with UNLV. So I was exposed to like what it is to have an early education and higher education. So when it came down to high school, I joined the MANIC program at Desert Pines High School. I did the journalism program over there.
Shout out to Desert Pines.
Desert Pines. And
Alumnus right
yeah,
here as
so
well.
I'm alumni. So I went there. I graduated 2014. I decided to take my journey to CSN, study more about journalism, and I actually graduated with journalism this past year with an associate. So
Congrats.
thank you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that. So yeah, and then but before I graduated, things went. I would say my world turned upside down. So I always go out of my way to help, my friends and everything. I had a coworker at the time. I was working at Walgreens at the time that needed help registering for classes and get the financial aid done and everything. And this was on a Wednesday, June 16th, on a Wednesday. Normal day, normal time. So I picked her up early in the morning, took her to our North Las Vegas campus, and we were just handling business. Like I was trying to get her financial aid done, and I was trying to help her get an appointment for academic advising. But my brother called saying that he needed a ride to work because they asked him to work on the weekdays, which was unusual because he usually works the weekends, and I didn't have work until like maybe 3 that afternoon. So I told her if we could reschedule, and then that I would take her out to lunch for, for the inconvenience and everything. She was down for it, and she said it's fine. So I took him and her to the mall to obviously drop off my brother. Across the street was an In and Out, and I wanted to take her to In and Out because In and Out is really good.
It's delicious.
It's
Shout out
delicious.
to In and
Yes,
Out.
shout out
We're
to
not
In-N-Out.
sponsored by you, but we
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
mind.
I do love your burgers. But anywho, I said I would. We're just gonna go across the street because it's the easiest and everything. So as I was trying to go into that next shopping plaza, I made the mistake of getting to the 215 because I guess there was like the street was narrow and then it just didn't look like it was going towards the freeway. So I made the mistake of going in it. So I looked at her and I said, "It's not a big deal. We'll just make the next exit and then leave." So I got back on the 215, and I was gonna take the next ramp and then just go back to the shopping plaza. But my car battery died as I was getting into the freeway. So I wasn't really into the freeway yet. It was just the start of getting into the freeway. So I did what any other normal person would do: just go into the emergency lane and then see what's wrong with the car. So I knew exactly what was wrong. It was the car battery. So I told my friend, stay in the car, stay in there, don't move, no matter what. So I got out the car, I lifted the hood of the car, I propped the hood up. As soon as I reach for the battery, next thing I know, I get hit by my own car, and then next thing I know, I'm under my car, and see my whole world spinning. And I remember feeling like this is it. This is how I'm going to die. This is how it's going to be. And I could remember me having me screaming and crying uncontrollably. It was like an out of body experience. Like I've never really had that ever happen. And I wanted to stop really badly, but I just couldn't. By the time I'd stopped, my hands were crossed, and the car was on top of my back. My friend came out of the car to see if I was okay, and she looked at me. She was distraught. She didn't know what to do. Me being me, I was just trying to loosen the situation. So I looked at her and I said, "We're not going to In and Out, huh?" And then she started crying and
Not
bursting
going in.
tears. I was just trying to help the situation. Four men,
Little comic
four
relief.
heroic men, came out of the cars and they lifted the car. And I've never met these men, so if you're watching this, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Absolutely.
They lifted the car up. My friend pulled me out of the car. They flipped me over gently, and then I was on the top of the very hot cement. So I waited about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Well, it felt like that. I could have been. It could have been less, but it felt like a good 2 3 minutes. They took me into their ambulance. They gave me the medicine that I needed to get through the pain. They asked me which hospital I wanted to go to. I was in distraught at that point, and I asked them just take me to the nearest hospital. I was really, really, really scared, and I thought these were like my final moments. At that point in my mind, I was like, I lived the life I wanted to live. I was able to help people that I wanted to help. So next thing I know, they took me out of the hospital. I hit the double doors. I hear my friends say my name for the last time. Black.
Wow.
Black, black, black. And then I did have vivid dreams, but that's another story for another day. I woke up and I remember seeing the roof of the hospital, and I said to myself, okay, can I move my body? I moved my arms first, and I said, oh, thank God. But the true question was the legs. As soon as I was moving my legs, I was like, oh, that's great. And then my brother and my mother were like right next to me bedside, and then they were asking whether if I was conscious because they said I was moving while I was asleep or when I was in a coma, and I didn't realize that. But no, but I nodded because I wasn't able to talk because they had to do a trach on my throat, and I nodded.
So how long was it from when you hit the door till you woke up?
So I thought it was 4 days, but when I woke up, my folks told me it was 3 weeks.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was asleep for 3 weeks. And it was unpleasant. You would think 3 week, but it was unpleasant. I felt really drowsy waking up and everything. It was not the best of times. And then after that, I think I stayed at Sunrise for another 3 weeks, and then I went to Harmon Hospital for the rehab center, and that's where I truly learned how to walk. I still did the rehab at Sunrise, but they were showing me how to get out of bed and how to like sit and everything, those types of things.
Shout out to all the occupational, the physical therapists,
Yes,
Harmon as
yes,
well. You guys
Harmon.
do an incredible job.
Yes,
Absolutely.
they did. They absolutely did, and yeah, it was in that point. It felt like all hope was lost, but what really helped me was just the community that came out. I had a bunch of my old students from the past and present come and support me and making sure that I was alive. My best friends from college came to see me. Nurses like yourself came to make sure I was okay. And anytime I felt lonely, you would stay here just to have like simple conversations like why do I like Batman so much, or why do I like Star Wars so much. So those were the types of things that made the stay a little bit more bearable and everything. Um, Learning how to walk was like one of the most painfulest things. I remember when my surgeon that did the surgeries for me, Dr. Silverberg, thank you very much.
Dr. Silverberg.
When he told me I'm able to start the walking process, I was very cocky. I said to myself, yeah, sure, I could walk. I can walk this off. I could do this. Let's get this moving. But I remember taking those first steps in front of my mom. Um, I was just in destruct, and then I felt like I couldn't walk ever again, and just having the whole weight on my shoulder, it was just so hard, and I was so angry. I was angry at the man that hit my car. I was so angry at myself for leaving the car. I was so angry at like everyone, and I wanted revenge. But then I prayed, and then I saw a therapist, and we talked about the things that we need to cope as a person. So so they told me I have to take it one step at a time, set goals for myself. So they said this is just the first day. The first day you do anything, you're not gonna be perfect. So I said to myself, you know what? I gotta chin up and I gotta keep moving forward. And then that's what I did. So I said, first day we're gonna do 5 steps, on the bars, just 5 steps. And then the next day 5 steps. Okay, let's go to 6. Let's go to 7. Let's and then it became, let's go walk around in the hospital. Let's walk around the hospital room. Let's try to get home. And then that was my mission. Was just that was the first part, just getting home. And I was really homesick because like being away from home and being away from the people you love, it was quite miserable. Not the scenery was miserable, but then just not being home. So I think I got better as soon as I got home, because that's when I had it's kind of like Superman, like when he goes back home with the sun, and in Kansas City,
Sure,
yeah,
regenerates you.
regenerating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as soon as I got back home and I had the inpatient therapy, that was great. And my apartment complex, it had like a walk, like a walkthrough that where you could
Like a
walk back and forth.
pathway?
Pathway, yeah. And I would do that, and I did that for a couple months, and I started to walk on my own in 4 months, which was great because they told me that I wouldn't walk within 2 years, but I did that in 4 months.
Awesome.
So, and then they told me I was ready for outpatient therapy, and that's when we started to work out with like weights and everything for the legs, and then same thing for the arms and everything, and then things got better and better, and then I started going out of my own way to wake up every morning at 6 and start walking around my apartment complex, and that was really soothing because it just brought me down, and then I just reacted to everything that went on in my life for the past 5 or 6 months in that point. And then yeah, and then I wasn't really sure what to do in that point because I wasn't. People were telling me when you want to go back to work, what you want to do. I was working at CSN at the time, and I was also working at Walgreens at the time. So two of them were telling me like when you want to start. I mean, we're not rushing you, but just let me know. I decided I should just go back to school and just finish off because I feel like that was like the best way to like ease the transition of like civilian life and just living in the beginning of a normal life. But obviously with March with COVID, everything shut down, so I had to do everything online. But secretly, COVID was actually a good thing for me because I got to really focus on rehab since we were at home anyway. So I just did a lot of workouts at home, and then I just did whatever I could. And then I would just walk. I would ask my brother to walk with me whenever we could. Um, we would go to the mall. This was before COVID. We would go to the malls to walk and everything, so that way I can get used to being around people, again, and then just trying to be outside the wheelchair bound and everything. Year two, I was starting to walk on my own. I was at that point I was using the cane to walk around, which I was really happy about. And then this year was really about 2021 doing things that I needed to do and try to get to the person I was before. So I started working out more. I started to give myself goals. I started to leave out the people that weren't good for me and just leave them out respectfully. Keep people that gave me positive energy every day. Praying to my God every day, making sure He's giving me strength every day and everything. So, and then just being thankful that he's given me a second chance. And then there were times we were talking about this earlier, like,
Yeah,
why would you put
absolutely.
me in this situation? Why would you do this to me? Like, I was serving you, I was helping the people, I was helping your children. I was like, I thought I was doing everything good. I mean, I knew when I growing up, I was running into trouble, but I thought I thought I had redemption. I thought I did everything, but I think he did that so I would become stronger, and I don't think he saw I was going on the wrong path. Because after leaving the hospital, it showed me what I really wanted to do. Because growing up, I thought I was gonna be like this reporter that's gonna go around telling stories, but seeing people come and visit me saying, "Hey, thank you for making a difference in my life," just being there, just being as a friend, being a mentor, and everything, I said, you know what? I might as well continue doing that because I'm doing such a great job at it. So I decided to switch my major. So I graduated with journalism degree at CSN, and now I'm going to UNLV and pursuing communications for my bachelor's degree. So that is my next mission, and then I want to continue to mentor middle school, high school students, or college students. So right now, I'm working at CSN as security concierge for the first year experience. And basically, I'm helping first year students or returning students with any kind of questions they need. And it's always fulfilling to be able to help them and then share on with them like my knowledge of like schools and everything of how it works. Not just at CSN, but also other colleges because I've worked at UNR, the other community colleges at Reno, UNLV, obviously Nevada State. So I have tons of knowledge of like what to do. As far as I know, here in Nevada, I have tons of knowledge. Other schools, I'm not really sure, but here, Nevada, I'm pretty familiar with.
Awesome, awesome. But yeah, so I'm hearing this and this huge example of like how you were able to go through a really tough time, and like you said, just why did this happen to me? And like you said, what was your answer? You feel like it put everything into perspective for you,
Yeah,
correct?
it really did. And then with God, it's so funny how He works. I don't think he sends, he he sends his strongest soldiers for the toughest battles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then that was my toughest battle yet because I've overcome so many obstacles in my life in middle school and high school, and I thought I conquered them all just going because like I was like one of the first in my family to go to college, so I thought I did the impossible.
Sure. But he's
But
like, I think I
no,
have a
no,
little
no,
bit
I
more
got
for
something
you.
else for you.
Yeah.
Let me write it out for you.
Absolutely.
But no, and then I was upset. I'm not gonna lie, I was really upset with them for the longest time
Sure.
because I just didn't get it. Like why me? But then I realized I think I had the tools already to go through this. I
Sure.
already had like the personality to go through this kind of trauma and still come out maybe even a better person than I was before.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
That's the
Absolutely.
biggest thing.
So I want to share a little bit of scripture
Mm-hmm.
in Second Thessalonians 1:3. So what's happening here is that's in Thessalonica, Paul and Timothy came and then they started this church, but immediately, because this was a city in Greece,
Mm-hmm.
and they were still worshiping like Greek gods and things like that, and Rome and Caesar was the one that was in charge. So they immediately persecuted this church, but instead of this church disappearing, they actually flourished within and amongst the persecution and the suffering. So when I'm listening to your story, I'm hearing a story of like body was battered, your mind, your spirit, you were like, why am I here? And to see that you had the willpower and you looked within yourself and within God and you were like, how are we going to get through this? So this is an example of what we're going to be reading about here in 2 Thessalonians 1:3, where it says, "Dear brothers and sisters, we can't help but thank God for you because your faith is flourishing and your love for one another is growing. We proudly tell God's other churches about your endurance and faithfulness in all the persecutions and the hardship you're suffering." So that's what we're doing right here. We're talking about how your faith made you flourish, how it made you grow, how I'm wanting to talk to everybody else, all the other churches, about your endurance and your faithfulness and how you were able to go from like, my gosh, you almost died. Like
Yeah,
I was
literally. No.
I was his nurse.
Shout out to you though. You were
He almost
so nice.
died. That was like legit.
I was like, I
was
knocked. I
bad.
was like, hey, Death, how you doing? But
Yeah.
no, it was a surreal moment, and then it's one of those things that I really do think about. Like I look at myself in the mirror every day. I look at the scars. I'm just like, wow. And then I'm not horrified by the
Yeah.
scars. Actually, I'm actually.
How do you look at the
I
scars?
look at
Yeah.
the scars as me being a survivor and just saying that I'm here, and just being thankful that I am here, and then being at the hospital setting, seeing other people not making it is just it's so surreal, and I'm just saying I'm blessed because not a lot of people say that they survived, let alone being able to walk again. That's it's one thing surviving, but living like the normal life you had
Ooh,
before.
How did you respond to the doubters or to the people?
Oh.
Yeah, how did you
Oh.
let's talk about that.
The
Ooh.
now I'm just gonna say this: all the nurses and doctors, they were just giving me their observation about
And
the
we
situation.
need to we
And
always
then
have to go the negative
The
route
yeah,
because if we set your expectations a little too high,
then
sometimes you'll be mad
mad at-
because
yeah.
but
but
still,
yeah,
yes.
but I knew what they were trying to say, and I knew they weren't trying to hurt my feelings. Let's just put that out there. I'm not bashing anyone or anything. But when they told me that I wouldn't be able to walk within the 2 years, let alone just having perfect balance, having my leg be normal again, my right leg be normal again. I was that really destroyed me a little bit. But I knew if I wanted to be normal, I had to put in the work.
Absolutely.
I had to put in the work, and luckily, I like to work out before the accident.
Cool.
So when it came down to physical therapy, I was not afraid to put in the work.
I
And then
remember
there-
you using the bands while you were still in
Yes.
there, right?
Yeah, we did that, and I was not afraid to put in the work. And I knew some of the exercises we would do were very painful.
Sure.
But sometimes when you want to grow as a person, you have to be in uncomfortable settings, and in uncomfortable settings, that's when you grow as a person.
Would you say
Because-
sometimes or all the times? Like
No, I
whenever
would say,
you grow?
No. I say all the times.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to be in uncomfortable settings all the time, because if you're always in your comfort zone, you're never gonna grow as a person.
You're never
You're
gonna
never
grow.
gonna grow. If you never expand to other circles, you're never gonna grow. If you stay in that small circle, you're never gonna grow as a person. You're
Absolutely.
never gonna grow as an individual. So I was always asking for more. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
I said, give me the workouts and everything and everything we need to do. And then there were days where like, oh, this is a free therapy day. You don't have to do therapy. I would ask them, okay, what kind of exercises can I do on my own on my bed? And then that gave me the motivation. When I went back home, they gave me a list of workouts to do, and I did those. I did basic ones, just like standing up, going to the fridge, getting food.
Sure.
If I dropped something, trying to get the thing off the floor. Trying to bend was the hardest thing. It took me about maybe a year just going up the stairs and going down the stairs. Escalators was like the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Still is a challenge today, but it's a little bit easier now.
Like to describe it, like sitting was a problem
No,
for you.
sitting.
So
No.
we just need to see like how uncomfortable
It was very
it,
uncomfortable. And the
Yeah.
bed sitting, because obviously you're submerged in like sofa, uh, comfortable like cush and everything. So when they first introduced me in physical therapy, I thought we would move my legs and everything, but they were like, you also fractured like your pelvis,
Pelvis.
so you have to learn how to sit again. I'm like, learning how to sit again? That doesn't make any sense to me. So when they first put me on the chair to sit for like an hour, it was the most painfulest thing. And then I would always tap out around maybe the 15 to 20 minute mark.
Yeah.
And
So
then
this is perspective. Like this
Mhm.
is how like injured this man was.
Yeah. So I was there, and then I would always feel like a timer after leaving the hospital, because like we had a pillow for my wheelchair, and then we would go around doing things, but then I would just beg to go back after like maybe 15 20 minutes. If we weren't in the car. In the car I never had a problem because there was like cushions and everything already built in the car. But obviously in a wheelchair you have to improvise with the pillows, and sometimes
Yeah.
that wasn't enough. So but when I was able to get out the chair by myself, it gave my pelvis like a break, and then I was able to sit back down. So after I was able to stand right back up, down, up, down, then we were able to do longer periods of staying
Sure.
out, if that makes any sense. Because you're sitting down for a long period of time and you can't move, then obviously the pain is going to be there for a longer time. But if you're able to get up, you give your pelvis like
Yeah.
a break. And it's good for the legs too, because walking around will only make it stronger and everything. And I was really sad too because my calves were huge before the accident. And then they were just like, I'm not sure if you know any Captain
are they
America
getting back
references.
to-
I was basically Captain America, pre-Captain America, before all this happened. So I was really skinny.
Yeah.
And yeah, but no, but now my
they back
my
to their
back- not
gloriousness?
as close, but they're getting there.
Very
they're getting
nice,
there.
very nice.
I'm running now, and that's another thing too. The hospital said I would never run again, but I'm actually running, sprinting, jogging. And then I just built it up. I said I gave myself goals. The first couple of months I said, let's do 2 minutes. Let's do a minute. And then whenever I get tired, stop. Okay? After I feel like the endurance, then I go to 5. Then I said, okay, let's put up to 10.
Yeah.
And then I stayed at 10 for a while just to get the endurance. And then a couple of weeks ago, I surpassed my my limit, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And now my current goal right now is just to a mile. So
Sure.
I'm always giving myself goals to reach and everything. And then I actually wanted to do weight training. So I coming out of the hospital, I had a mental idea of like what kind of workouts I want to do after I get out the rehab stuff. So I missed running because I was a runner. I wasn't the fastest, but that was my favorite thing to do. And then that really destroyed me when they said I couldn't run within 2 years. But I had to look at it from another perspective. And I said, okay, what things can I do? I could lift things. I could walk around.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can stretch. Those things, those are also good for your body.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I just started to do that and everything. And then I started to look at the nutrition. That was the key, because you could work out as much as you can, but like if your nutrition's not good,
Yeah.
then there's no point of really working out. So I started to focus on my nutrition. I worked with a nutritionist, and we had a plan about like what I needed to eat and everything. I'm not gonna lie, when I came out of the hospital, I ate whatever I wanted because I was eating hospital food, and it wasn't as good.
Absolutely. You got to
I mean,
spoil yourself.
Yeah, but I spoiled a lot of myself. I ate tons of pizza, burgers, chicken wings,
Sure.
all that. But when it came down to me starting to walk again normally, this is the point where I didn't need my cane or wheelchair anymore. I said, okay, if I keep going down this rate, I might be obese, and then my knees are not the same as they were
Agreed.
before.
Yeah.
And I've seen people where they don't work out, then their legs will give
Because
out.
you could have easily, like, honestly, I've seen this kind of presentation many times. 12 years, like 11, 12 years in trauma. And that's what you see is you see these people that are either going to bust their butt and do whatever it is that they need to do to get better. And they do, because there's a mindset. There's a shift where they're like, I can't continue living like this. I need to make the change and then go. And that's what you did. That
Mm.
what you did was, we a few weeks ago we talked about how there's a circumstance in front of you, right? Your circumstance was that you were badly injured and you almost died. You couldn't breathe for yourself. You needed a trach.
Yes,
You-
I did. Yep.
Were all of your extremities except for your left leg were
Yeah.
broken, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, describe
funny,
that.
Funny thing about the left leg, my cell phone saved my left leg because
What? Did it crack your phone or
it
something?
cracked my phone, but it was beneficial because it saved. And then for those people that say Android is like not the best, I beg to differ because it saved my left foot. It's if like when I woke up, it's like it never even
Droid.
happened. That was like one of the only parts of my body that didn't
That's
really get
incredible.
injured.
I do remember
Yeah,
that.
but this like I had like a drag foot. Drag foot is when like your feet's not able to go up and down normally anymore. But it's starting to get better now because the nerves they take a while to heal, but it got better.
Oh, drop foot.
Drop
Drop foot.
Drop foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
drop foot.
am I
Okay.
saying it right?
You're
Drop
good, you're
foot.
good.
Sorry, you're the nurse. I'm not. I'm just the patient.
It's been.
But then and then my right leg I had like a rod right here, and then I have a rod right here. So it was just, and then middle shoulder right here, and then middle bicep right here. I'm basically like the Wolverine.
He is absolutely Wolverine. Yes.
So
So we were talking about a gigantic circumstance in front of you, and a few weeks ago we were talking about how if you can't change the circumstance, which you had no control about
No,
the circumstance.
no, I had no control whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But I focused on the things I could control.
you focus on the perspective.
Perspective.
What can I do? What can
yeah,
I
do?
Absolutely, because you were talking about I can lift weights.
can
I
lift
may
a weight.
not run
I may not run yet.
yet.
That was my
Absolutely.
mindset. Yet.
Concentrate on the things
But
you
let's
can
focus
do.
on walking first.
Absolutely.
So I just did that, and then I worked out. I made sure I talked to Silverberg, Dr. Silverberg.
Dr. Silverberg.
I talked to him about the workouts and everything, and I said, like, because obviously I don't want to injure myself again.
Agreed.
So I talked to him about what are the safest workouts for me to do, and then we talked to the physical therapist along with his team, and they made sure like, no, he's able to do this, he's able to do that. Those were like my first questions when I first met him. I said, "Am I able to work out?" And he looked at me with a straight face, and he was like, "No, I encourage you to work out because if
do
you don't work
whatever."
out, it's not gonna work out. If you're just gonna stay at home not do anything, then it's not gonna work out."
Yeah.
You know what he told me? Like I haven't told the story, but I asked him if I could get an extension on my handicap permit, and this was like 6 months in, and he looked at me and was like, "You don't need that. You don't need it."
Absolutely.
And like not because I know you'll put in the work.
yeah.
And then he gave me a perspective that I didn't think. If you parked in the other side of the parking lot and you need to get to this location, that's even better for you because it gives you a walking distance to walk by. I didn't really think of it that way. I just thought of it as like an easier way for my folks to get me to point A to point B. But when I really thought about it, I was like, okay.
That's extra rehab.
And then,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's like extra workout for me to do.
Yeah.
And then my friends, anytime they parked so far alongside, they're like, "Oh, Frank," and I'm like, "No, it's okay. I got my cane. Let's
Sure.
do this. Let's put in the work."
Yeah. So next time something really bad happens in someone's life, or
Not as bad as mine, of course.
yes, absolutely,
Not as bad as mine.
I mean, if it were to come to a point like that, we just need to make sure that we're embracing the fact that we're not made out of tissue paper, that
No.
we are made by this incredible design. How is it that we can like eat food and then it turns into energy and then you just go? That still baffles me. And this is like, I've been a nurse for a long time. That is incredible.
I
that
will
we
just
can do
say this:
that.
the human body is amazing.
Incredible.
It's the way it adapts to certain things. Like it took me a while just to get used to the metal joints and everything. It took me a while to get used to like walking again.
Yeah.
But now it's just to the point where it's like used to like some of the abuse I give it and everything.
Yeah.
And I stretch often now because stretching is the most important thing. And now I'm walking again. Now I'm walking students to wherever they need to go.
Yeah.
And I'm giving tours and everything. And then I remember going to UNLV. No, not UNLV. I went to CSN in a wheelchair just to visit like my colleagues and like letting them know I'm
Oh,
okay.
sure.
And then they were so shocked seeing me in a wheelchair and everything. And I remember when they called me back saying like, "Are you ready to come back?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm ready to work as a faculty member." I remember walking, and I remember just like not crying, but just in tears. Like it's just I'm really walking
Yeah.
again, and it's just one of those surreal moments where it's like it's really happening. And now I wake up. Anytime I walk, I always have this thought like, "That really happened to me."
Ooh. So do you feel like prior to your accident you have ever had a victory like that?
Yes.
Okay.
But not physically, but mentally. I remember in high school I had a hard time passing a certain test called the proficiency exam.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, those were like the 4 tests that you needed to pass in order to graduate.
Agree.
And I was a student with IEP, and I had learning disabilities. So I had to put in the work
Absolutely.
to study. I went to school on Sundays and Saturdays. I came in early in the morning to study and everything. I was very involved in high school. In high school, I was in student council, Skills USA. I volunteered outside of high school whenever I could. And I had a lot, and then I was the student body historian at the time, my senior year. So I had a lot of responsibilities on my hand, but none of those would really matter if I didn't graduate on time.
Agreed.
So I had to put in the work, and I did whatever it took to graduate,
Yeah.
and I passed everything that I needed to pass.
Yeah.
My reading score, when I took the reading test, it took me 8 hours to do. My original score was 110. You needed a 300 to pass. I surpassed it. I passed with a 375.
Nice.
So, graduating high school, that was like the biggest victory.
Yeah.
And
So-
then I knew I was ready for college then.
So those are two incredible
those two-
victories.
Those
Absolutely.
are two. So I guess you could say I had a mental
Ooh.
and I had a physical battle.
And a physical.
Those were
one.
the two things that really prepared me.
And then what makes you so proud of those moments?
Because when you work towards something
Yeah.
and when you see it finally pay off,
It's that work.
It's
It's
just
that
that work.
suffering
and then,
you had to
yeah,
go through.
and then sometimes you have to be in those uncomfortable situations and you have to suffer a little bit.
Absolutely.
And you have to learn from your mistakes. People are so afraid from their mistakes. You know how many times I failed those proficiency tests? I failed about maybe 12, 15 times.
Oh wow, yeah.
But when it finally counted, I passed.
That's awesome.
I passed.
Absolutely.
And then I remember we had a party and everything. I got to speak at my graduation only because I was a student body participant.
Yeah.
So I was able to speak and I was able to represent my high school, and that was like the biggest achievement. Seeing everyone like scream my name and everything. I wasn't really popular. I knew people in my high school. Anytime they needed information, it's kind of like how I am now at CSA.
Sure.
If they need information like when's the next pep rally, when's the next football game, when's the next event, Frank is where you should go.
Sure.
So I don't think things have really changed much since high school.
That's so awesome.
But
man.
yeah, but no, those were the two battles that I faced, and
Yeah.
then I also put my faith in the Lord. When it came to my test, I would pray to Him every night.
Yeah,
And
heck
ask
yeah.
Him, give me the strength to do this. We would have prayers about it with my family, and then when I finally passed, it was just the strive. I was almost in tears because I thought I wouldn't graduate with my peers, and I
Yeah.
did it. And going to college, I knew I was prepared for college at that point, because if I'm able to put in the work on the weekends, and putting all the hours of
Yeah.
study, because when you go to college, you have to do like major
And
hours of
nobody's
study.
on your butt about
And
it.
no
You
one,
got to
no,
do it
that's
yourself.
even worse. I had in high school, I had people. I didn't need to be pushed. I was pushing myself. Honestly, I had people telling me to slow down.
Oh, in high school?
In high school, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was the one who was always busy. I would not be home until like 12 at night
Wow.
sometimes, only because I was so involved in my school.
Sure.
Any other regular student, they would probably be home no later than maybe 12 or 4 if they didn't go to McDonald's with their friends.
Wow.
But I put in the work, and then I just did what I needed to do.
That's awesome.
And that's why I just tell people, like, don't give up. Just if you want something, you gotta fight for it, because no one's gonna fight your battles for you. Not even God, because
Yeah.
He will give you the opportunity
Ooh.
to do it.
Preach,
Like,
Frank.
He
Preach.
will give you the opportunity. If you ask for it, He'll give you opportunity. If you ask for wisdom, He'll give you problems to solve.
Absolutely. He'll give
If
you opportunities.
He'll give you
to,
opportunity and
Mhm.
after opportunity. You just look for them.
Absolutely.
And then you just have to you gotta put in, because God's not a genie. He's not gonna grant every wish.
Agreed, he is not.
You have to put in the work.
He's going to help you build the tools to become the person that you need
And
to
then,
be.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
then but now I use my tools to help anyone in any way I can. It's so weird
Yeah,
going to
and that's what your hope is with this as well,
Yeah,
right?
so, yeah.
Someone here to hear your story
No,
and
it's so crazy. Yeah.
be able to know that God is good, that he's going to put you through some tough times, but it's not about how bad the circumstance is, but how are you going to go ahead and get over
You get
that.
over it.
That
yeah.
situation. So we're here because, like in 2 Thessalonians 1:4, it says, we proudly want to tell the other churches, the other people, about your endurance and
Mhm.
your faithfulness in all the persecutions and the hardship and the suffering you had to
Mhm.
go through. So we're going to go ahead and pray just because of how incredible this was. We're going to go ahead and we'll do our question of the day. We'll do our challenge, and then we'll finish it off. Lord, thank you for having us here. Thank you for the special guest of Frank to be able to come here and show us his incredible story of perseverance, how it is that you put him in a situation. He looked at it with the right perspective. He had to go and do the work. He had to make sure that he put faith in you, faith in himself to be able to accomplish something big. And we know that you are a great and all-powerful God, and that you don't give us more than we can handle. And we're just here hoping that you just build us into the people that you need us to be. Allow us to reach out to people that are needing of what we have and what you are. And we say this in the glorious name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Absolutely. So, what's the question of the day?
Oh my gosh, you guys talked about so many great points. So I think there's gonna be 3 questions. Answer whichever one, whoever answers first. So Frank, you were talking about. Oh my gosh, now I drew a blank. Sorry. In order to grow and you know change as a person, you know, what is it that you have to get? So what do you guys have to get in order to grow as a person? Also, you talked about just setting goals for yourself. I think that was supposed to be
Yeah,
the answer.
one of the themes
yeah,
of this.
just
Yeah.
setting goals for yourself and just pushing yourself to get blank, fill in blank. And then also the last thing that you guys talked about, you said God is not a genie. You know, He's not gonna.
No, he's not.
He's not a genie. He's not gonna just
like-
answer your wishes. You know, He's gonna give you what, so you can grow. So answer any one of those. I loved everything I talked about. I have a gift card for you. Just put it in the chat. And then the challenge for today is.
me today?
No, it's a fun one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Okay, so it's 20 questions.
Okay.
20 questions.
20 questions, yes.
Okay.
So one of you, you guys can decide who, will pick an object in the room. The other one has to answer up to 20 questions to figure out what it is. Yes or no questions only.
Okay.
Make sense?
Sure.
Do you want to pick an object? Do you want to answer questions? Or do you want to pick an object?
I'll pick an object.
Okay.
And I have to
Pick a
ask
hard one.
questions?
Yes or no questions only.
I'm not good at this.
Try to figure out what it is.
All right. Let me know. Let me know when you're ready.
I already have my objects.
Okay.
Ready? Yes or no only.
Go
Go.
now. Is it a device?
No.
Is it a piece of furniture?
No.
Is it a decoration?
No.
Is it a person?
No.
Oh, I am not doing well here. How many questions do I have? Is it a red balloon?
No.
Oh man, I thought that was it. Not a decoration, not a device. Is it something that we're using to record this?
No.
Is it something that makes coffee?
It would be weird if it did, but
Is it something edible?
no.
Oh.
Okay, maybe not to humans, but that's all I was saying.
Ooh. Not to humans.
Maybe not to humans.
Is it a blanket?
No.
Oh, 'cause moths, hey, they eat my clothes all the time. I'm actually doing a little bit better. Is it slippers?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, the reason I said that dogs they
Slippers.
they chew they
Yeah,
chew on
that's so good.
Yeah.
Because I thought about that, and I was like, slippers.
Slippers, yeah.
Oh, that was genius. That was genius.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
But
no.
yes, thank you so much, Frank, for being here.
No, I'm so
Hey, if
honored
you
for
ever
being
want to
here.
join us in the future, we have activities. We'll go bowling. You could always bring some of your friends and that you mentor with us.
Mhm.
That would be absolutely awesome.
That's so cool.
We have plans to do more outreach, feeding
Okay,
homeless, things like
perfect, Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And then if you guys ever want to follow me, like I said, Frank Canales, at Instagram, and then the Friendly Frank the Friendly Frank, but there's an underscore between Friendly and Frank, and then that's me. So, but that's
Awesome.
my student account. So if you ever have any questions about student related stuff, that's
Absolutely.
me.
At CSN, right?
CSN, UNLV,
UNLV.
anything college related here in Nevada, I will do my best to help you.
Absolutely. If
No
he
promises,
doesn't
but I will do my best to help.
if he doesn't know the answer, he'll
I
hook
will
you up
find
with
someone.
someone that knows.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's actually my motto. Actually, I tell my students that all the
Absolutely.
time.
I like that.
We got to do our plug too at CDV Youth LV.
Sure. Watch this again. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. But we love you guys. Just go out there and don't be afraid of suffering. Don't be afraid of getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't be afraid, because that's the best way to grow.
Absolutely.
That's my best advice to anyone. Don't be afraid to go outside other circles.
Yes.
Have an open mind about a few things. And if you don't like it, that's fine. And then don't be afraid to fail, because if you don't fail, you will never learn.
You will never learn. Absolutely. I'm just going to leave it at that. You
Mhm.
guys have an awesome day. See you next one.